Well, as I told you, it's been a busy Wednesday. It's not going to get any easier from here on in. I was up early this morning, had the kids to school early for some sort of an early morning function. Got to the barn, galloped Hanger 1, and he loves to work. And galloped Gaslight Hall also. Both those horses were good today. Trained a bunch of horses. Now I'm on my way to the Meadows, and I'll be on my way back to Ohio. A number of people, before I get into it, I love this time of year. Always brings out the coolest questions, right? From people with various depths of understanding or experience in this industry. And whether it be, I had a couple of people asking me why we put a couple of horses in claimers or why we sold a couple of horses. So my answer can be complex or it can be kind of easy also, right? The reason for a couple of horses going in for claimers is because that's where they can win. It's pretty simple. You show me a condition race they can win next week, and that's the race they'll be in. I just looked quickly and decided where would we win this week or next week, and those are the classes that were right there in front of me. Sure, we could put them in a condition and run them up the wood and hope we get out the win. I want decisive victories from these horses that are coming back. You know, you guys know it and I know it. Not every horse is going to come back great. We see it on display every week. Some horses look really good. Some horses don't. We have the odd surprise where, geez, that horse really come back extremely well. But there's another side to that coin where you have horses that just did not come back the way you'd hoped. Both the Rose Run Pacers have not been awesome yet this year. There's signs. Rose Run AJ, a couple miles in 55, pace 28, pace 29, but a non-factor. Rose Run Alexandra, I expected her to come back a lot better. Now, James said her gait was better the other day, which isn't surprising, but still, a non-factor in the mile. My job in this respect is very simple. How do we get from a non-factor to one of the horses to beat in the class? It's pretty easy. Put them in where they can win. Somebody said, well, you know, I just feel that in Ohio, a horse like Rose Run AJ is worth more money. But respectfully, I disagree. Let's say they go out and claim Rose Run AJ. Okay. He's not a Buckeye horse. He's certainly not a Sire Stake horse the way it looks like right now. Keep in mind, and this was brought to me by Jason, and it had nothing to do with AJ necessarily or this week, but he couldn't have been more spot on. He said, Anthony, Burke's got 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 absolute killers that are Ohio breds. He is going to chase everybody out of the Sire Stake program this year, and everybody's going to be shoved down into the Buckeyes. And it is going to be impossible to find a Buckeye that you can do well in. 1,000% correct. The same with Alexander. Just put them in where they can win. That's it. I don't have to be cute about it, right? It's the same as you're talking to a kid. Ollie and I talk about it all the time, and he's talking about pitching, right? And he's a kid. He thinks that he's going to throw a breaking ball or a curve ball. It's going to be perfect and strike someone out. Just give him the heat. That's it. Just give them the heat. Just put her in where she's going to be the favorite. That's all you got to do. So it's not really as complex as one might let on it is. Here's where she can't do. Show me where she can. Where she has her best shot to win. Oh, there it is right there. Not that hard. Another great question, actually I think it came from the same email, was are there concerns, did you have more splints this year than you had last year? It just seemed like there was an exhaustive list of horses that had splints to be crowd. That's a great question. And my answer was also just fresh in my mind. I would say yes, maybe we had more splints, but we had a lot less curbs. And as I was writing it, I'm thinking to myself, why is that? Am I wrong? Did we not have more curbs? Did we have more splints? I can't be certain, but I think it was more or less the weather and the track condition. A little bit harder track, a little more splint issue. Last year, a little softer track, a little more curb issue maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. But again, that's how it seems to me. The one frustrating part was the quarter cracks this year. I didn't see that one coming. That one blindsided me. And the last one to get patched up and cleaned up, and hopefully now that the track doesn't have calcium or salt on it, that will be that. We'll have to work hard to keep that, to manage that, make sure that it doesn't come back, rear its head at bad timing. The last one today was Cherry's girl, and I love the fact that she went out and got it done, even with the quarter crack. I told you guys, and I had somebody email me and said, Anthony, all due respect, I completely disagree with training a horse with a quarter crack. You know, these horses, if they're not perfect, they should not be on the track. Well, I get where you're coming from. You know, in a perfect world, all things being equal, you're right. All things are never, ever equal. Ever. I'll go back to a conversation I had. I don't want to drop names, but somebody I got a lot of respect for. And his kids played baseball. High-end baseball, like tier 1, I believe. So I guess that would be like top of the food chain, college baseball. And he said, I can't remember the exact way it came about, but he said that he ran into Roy Halladay one day before he had passed away. That maybe he was an assistant coach, maybe he was there for the day, I can't remember. But nevertheless, he ran into him, and he was a little sheepish to ask him a bunch of questions, right? This is a superstar, and of course, the guy's been asked every question, gets annoyed when people ask him stuff. So he was very, just in a nonchalant way, just said, I forget, it just struck up a conversation, and it ended up getting to, honestly, what's the difference between you and a guy like you that maybe didn't make the majors? Because, and I didn't know it because I never had a son. And listen, Oliver's 11 years old. The difference between where his boys were and where my son is it's not apples and oranges, it's apples and spaceships. He said, I believe, and I'm paraphrasing, I think, he said, I think ultimately it boils down to who wants it more, right? He said, I don't think I ever played a game, at least a good game, where I wasn't hurt or sore in one way or another. That's the same with everybody. If you were out there and you're watching this and you played sports, how many times you go on the ice, on the football field, on the pitch, whatever, baseball diamond, and you were 100%, played a great game, and you said, I played a great game today because I was 100% today. Everybody is always pursuing perfection. They're pursuing 100%, but you can never get there. My question asked to Cherry's girl today, right? Or Neuromancer the other day. What happens when you're not 100%? What are you going to do then? You guys have been around me long enough. You know what I'm like. I came back from my broken wrist a month early. In fact, truth be told, I drove 2 months early. I watched my brother win the Canadian Pacing Derby with a broken collarbone. I watched my other brother set Canadian records with smashed up face that was healing because we're competitive. And I guess it's at some point in your life, whether it's taught to you or you just pick it up, get it done when you can get it done. Simple as that. So, my response to that email, and honestly, I think it was just very politely, something, and I appreciate the email, because I do. But the reality of the situation is you're never perfect. You always want to be perfect. I don't want to see quarter cracks. I don't want to see splints and curbs. These are performance animals, and they are going to come up. They come up in every barn. It's not like it's our barn. It's every barn. So I am a little steadfast in my response, in the way that I want to see what you're going to do when you're not 100%. I would never ever train a horse, with an injury just to see. I wouldn't really categorize a splint or a tiny curb or a quarter crack is an injury, in the sense that this horse could get injured more. Now, the quarter crack could spread, I suppose. In that regard, you're right. And the horse could be a little more sore because of it. And you don't want to go down that path. You need to stop and fix that. But at the same time, I'm talking, when I talk injury as a trainer, you're talking suspensories, tendons, lines, issues that you need to address immediately. So no, I'm not. I stand behind what I'd said and what had happened. And not only do I appreciate the emails, but more to the horse side, I appreciate the effort the horse has put in. Not one horse let me down in any way over the last 3 weeks. So let's get into those sets right now real quick. I'm going to go through them quick with you. First set, maybe you guys are or not following along at home. Tomboy Strong, Love Sensation. There were some scratches for temperatures today. None of them in the first set. I won the set with Rose Run Bobby in 2:29. Aunt Sarah was breathing down my neck behind me. Judy's Money was beside me. Love Sensation was behind us. Tomboy Strong was on the outside. And he's a Fearless Peter made a little break in the early start of the training set and come back, and he was right behind them. And I had said to Johnny after, I said, when we score those horses down before the training set, you'll see me do it all the time. I want to know, one, what they can and can't do, and two, I want them to be aware it's time to go. And I could tell. Obviously there's no video, but I knew what Johnny was trying to say. The horse was throwing his head and acting up. That's not go time. Go time is you have it together. So not a big deal. All the horses in set one were fine. Set two, I think we did have some scratches. No, we didn't. I was wrong. We did not. Steph's Hope made a break. Just needs the hobbles. It's the first time I've gone with her in a while. Amy had said that like a month ago. 100% correct. There's nothing wrong with the filly. Just put the hobbles on her. That's exactly what she needs. Sterling Hanover made a break. I went with him in the next set because there was scratches, and he was good. I'm tempted to send him to Ontario to train on the bigger track also. This is a New Jersey eligible colt. And I like what I saw today. His attitude is really, 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 really changing. And I've been very happy with Sterling. The break day wasn't his fault. He was just switching his leads coming out of the turn. The track was a little seedy, a little deep today, and he has flip-flops on. He just rolled off. It was not his fault when I went with him. When Amy went with him, he just maybe needed to be thought out a little bit. But Sterling Hanover, I was overall happy with him today in both sets. That's right. Made a break in the set number 2, and he went right back out and won in set number 3. Degas was great with the hobbles on today. Joe J. Fotag ended up making a break on Tyler, but I went by him. I said, Tyler, his hobbles are too loose, man. You know how she likes them. And he said, yeah, it's my fault. I should have just reached down and tightened them up when we were starting. Anyway, it's not a big deal. Emerald Tom was great for Johnny. Royal Duchess was good. Now she is getting over a quarter crack, just a trickle on the top of the line. But Jason Merriman said, she's not pretty. She gets it done. And that is exactly what I want to hear, and he's 100% correct. Supermind, I believe, was 1-2 in that set, I'm sure. He looked very, very good also. Jason hit him trotting great. He's really starting to turn the corner and look like a racehorse now. Set number 3, Pretty Eyes and Lies was good. This was her first training mile back in New York, scratched with a temperature. Jolene Hall scratched with a temperature. My Name is Sweeney tied up a little bit. She was scratched. So we were scratched down to a field of 4, and I said, nope, hold the phone. And Don't Ask Again had a temperature. I said, no, I'll go with Sterling. So Sterling went back out with them. Leland Hanover won the set. Rico Tubbs was second. Amy was on the inside, and I'd made a break coming out of the turn. I'm pretty sure I could have got there had he not made a break. I was really happy with that colt today. Very, very happy with him. And everybody in that set number 3, was great. Set 4, Blue Rare scratch with a temperature. I told you we had a virus going through the barn. Nothing serious. They all ate all their breakfast. They had no coughing, no mucus, but temperatures around 101.3 to 102.1. That's more than enough to scratch those horses out, and that's exactly what we did. Go Strong Hanover was great. Steady Volo scratched with a temperature today. Jerry's Girl, I thought was good, and I don't think anybody beat Perfection Hanover. I told Amy today, Amy was going with Perfection. I said, work that colt. I don't care how many times you got to move him, what you got to do. Every time it feels like he's backing off, come with him. And she moved him like 3 times, and I think he won the set. Go Strong Hanover was second. Cherry's Girl was third on the inside, and Uncle Danny was on the outside of them. So everybody in that particular set was very good also. And then we were back with the Pacers, 2:23 today, a couple seconds faster than I wanted to go, but Amy chopped out a good mile, and Sweet Lake dispatched everybody. I thought I got her at the wire, but in hindsight, I don't think I quite reached. Millie Girl was fantastic. Sweet Lake was great. Diosa Della Donza was roaring up the inside. Those three were right across the track. Right behind us was Perfect Thought and Highest Honors. Perfect Thought just getting over that virus from last week. But every one of those pacers paced a good last half, and they all looked very, very good. So aside from a bit of a virus-ridden training day, you know, a number of scratches, everybody that went the right way of the track with a stopwatch looked very, very good today, and I was happy with what I saw from them. So that is it. You are now updated in the middle portion of the day. I am half an hour from the Meadows. I'm going to kick it off with Vehement. I'm going to close it with my girl that I've been waiting a full year to race, Melisandre. We'll see how she does, and then I'm going to race back over to Northfield Park. A number of people saying, are you going to make it? It's going to be tight. I'm well aware it's going to be tight. I will not be there for the second. I've already told the judges I won't, but I am going to do my damnedest to be there for the third. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck to all my partners racing at the Meadows or at Northfield. Take care.